DB, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How are you? Where are you today?
I'm up in upstate New York, Albany.
Oh, nice.
First of all, I really enjoyed Two Tickets to Paradise, so congratulations on that.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Now, so here you are, acting in the film, and then you decided to, write it, produce it, and direct it as well. Decided to just jump in head first, I see, huh?
Yeah, the original impulse was just to play this part because I felt like I was in a point in my career where, not that I was typecast because I've always gotten into a wide variety of things, but I was sort of getting into a range where I was often the intense guy, and I thought, that's fun, I can do that, but I wanted to kind of be the goofy guy. I wanted to try that. So that's why I gave myself that part of the guy who really can't get out of his own way, and he's sort of a lovable, kind of goofy guy, and I thought that would be fun to play.
And speaking of which, that was my next question was John McGinley's character. He really carries all of the heavy emotional baggage of the film. I mean, everybody goes through an arc of sorts, but he really kind of has the heaviest stuff. Was it refreshing for you then just to direct him in those parts, that you were never tempted to play that character?
Well, that a lot of the stuff in that character in the script comes from my own experience, and the sports background and some of the gambling stuff, and some of the other family stuff that he deals with in the movie is very autobiographical for me. So I really wanted to get a guy that I haven't seen do that kind of stuff before. And, John has had a long and illustrious career, and, of course, he's had a great run on Scrubs, which is very broadly comic. And he's been Oliver Stone's go-to guy for, a generation. But he's never really the guy right at the middle of a movie. And I thought, and I've known him for over 20 years. We were at NYU together, and I've always admired his work. And I thought, how great would it be to put him in the middle of a movie so that he doesn't have to fight for screen time. The movie is going to come to John McGinley. And it was a really great thing for me to watch him relax into that role because, a supporting player, they have this term, scene stealer. McGinley's he's a world-class scene stealer. And as the title suggests, people generally don't want scenes stolen from them. So a lot of times, you have to be sort of stealthy and you have to find a way to insert yourself into more prominent ways in scenes maybe than you would be in. So when that's your trade and that's how you make a living by, making more out of small parts or making something out of nothing, those habits are tough to overcome. When you're the main character, they're going to cut to you to see what your character thinks no matter what in every scene.
Right.
So you don't have to do something interesting in order to get the camera on you. And it was really fun to watch John sort of discover that. I mean, I think intellectually he probably knew that, but just to watch him relax into that role in the movie was really fun and gratifying for me and the director part of me.
You walk a fine line in the film, I think, between drama and comedy, and I think you do it successfully. Was it hard for you to find the balance between the two?
Well, yeah, I mean, because, I think if you get too jokey, that it gets harder to get back to serious. And I've noticed this in movies over the years. I'm a massive movie buff. I tried to make a lot of subtle allusions to some of my favorite movies in the movie. I didn't want to be too over the top about it, but I watch, for a time in my life, in the 80s and early 90s, I would watch 2 movies every day, 365 days a year. Some days I'd watch 3. And so I really had an enormous library of references, and I really have studied movies for a long time. And one thing that I've noticed is that in a comedy, if you kill somebody, it's no longer a comedy. It doesn't matter if it was the bad guy or whatever. When people can die in a movie, it's probably not a comedy. But at the same time, if you have nothing but gags, unless you're the Marx Brothers, the movie falls apart because there's nothing at stake at all, and it will fall apart because, the audience loses interest. I mean, how many times can you fall on the banana peel, So finding that balance to me is the key to some of my favorite movies, like Diner, there's a French movie called Get Out Your Handkerchiefs, and a lot of the other great, buddy movies, I guess, in a sense. Butch and Sundance has that, but Butch and Sundance is such on a level so above all these other movies. There's a movie called Midnight Run. It's one of my favorite movies. And all these movies have this thing where, yes, it's very funny, but there is something going through it where if it doesn't work out for the characters, you're going to feel bad for them. So I really wanted to keep that balance, and it was certainly the hardest thing in the edit.
Now, you cast Moira Kelly as your wife in the movie. Was that reaching out to the Cutting Edge fans, or was it just working with an old pal?
It was both, and it was also just pure luck because we shot the movie in Wilmington, North Carolina, because it was the geographic center point of the road trip, and it let me sort of pretend I was in Florida and also pretend I was in Pennsylvania with a lot of prestidigitation. But Moira had just finished her season on One Tree Hill, and I was inheriting a lot of the crew from One Tree Hill, and I didn't have Moira's contact information, so I actually reached out to her through the sound guys on One Tree Hill, who became my sound guys. And they sent her a message, and she said, yeah, sure, I'll do anything DB wants. And she comes down, and it was like a gift from God because she's such a great person, such a great performer. And had I known I was going to get Moira Kelly, I would have beefed that part up. It would have been much more significant. I might have gave her McGinley's part. I mean, anything was possible. I mean,
speaking of the cutting edge, it remains a very well-loved movie almost 20 years later. Do you still get approached a lot by fans of the film?
Hey, if I take a bad step in an airport, 5 people yell out toe pick. I mean, it is. I've made 60 movies, I think. I could make 60 more. It's going to say toe pick on my gravestone.
Well, I guess it's good to be loved, have something in your canon that loved that much.
I mean, I'd rather be known for that than Paris Hilton's video. I mean,
it's an excellent point.
Yeah, I mean, some people are not known for anything, and other people are known for something that you'd rather be running away from it. So here's a movie that, over the years, I've had people tell me that this movie has become for them and their family what The Wizard of Oz used to be at Thanksgiving. It's the movie everybody can agree on, or at Christmas. That we put this movie in, and everybody knows every scene, but it's fun to revisit it. And that's just such a great feeling to be a part of something like that. And Tony Gilroy wrote an incredible script. He's gone on to become the best screenwriter in Hollywood, and Moira is fantastic. I was really glad to be a part of that thing.
Also, I was a big Harsh Realm fan, and I was sorry to see that show not live up to its full potential in terms of how long it got to run. Any fun tidbits about the show for the other fans out there like myself?
Yeah, you know what? That's the one that got away, in my view, because that was a role that was such a good fit for me, playing Mike Pinocchio, this guy, The movie was ahead of its time. We came out before Matrix. We came out before, a lot of movies that were dealing with the idea of people manipulating their beings into computers and things. And it was very well written and very ahead of its time. And the true story that I heard behind that is that we were a new show, an expensive new show being produced by Chris Carter, who's, of course, the guy behind X-Files and Millennium. And X-Files at this time was the biggest show on TV and one of the most expensive. It was also a free agent, so I think they were negotiating for the next season, like the 8th season of X-Files or something like that. And they were on Fox, and we were on Fox, and Chris Carter was negotiating with Rupert Murdoch. And I guess there's the number that Chris wanted and the number that Rupert was offering were significantly far apart. So to speed up the negotiation, Rupert Murdoch said, okay, here's your show, Harsh Realm. It's a nice show. I like it. Bang. It's off the schedule. It's canceled. Now, do you want to talk more seriously about X-Files? 200 people working on the show, making their mortgage payments, and some guy with a cigar and a big leather chair kicks over a chess piece.
Right.
And, it was a real reality check for, how insignificant you are when you're, just an actor on a show somewhere.
Well, it was a great show, so a lot of us really enjoyed it. Also, I was curious about your voiceover work that you did in, like Dinosaur and Brother Bear, and what you like about voiceover work, and also if you have plans to do any more of it.
Yeah, I would love to do another animated movie, especially I would give anything to be in a Pixar movie, because Pixar is really the only studio left in Hollywood. I mean, everything else is just a distribution clearinghouse. That no studio has, like, the way Warner Brothers back in the 30s and 40s had, the Warner Brothers, the action movies that they had, the Bogart and Cagney movies, and they had you knew when you were watching a Warner Brothers movie. And, and then Disney had an imprinter for a long time, obviously on family entertainment. But now all of that's sort of gone away, and they all just do whatever they can to try and make money. But Pixar comes out with a movie that you can watch with your kids. It's going to be sophisticated enough to keep parents interested and funny enough to keep kids interested, and it's going to be emotional, and it's going to be great. And I don't know how many they've made, 9 or 10 or whatever, but they've all been home runs, and nobody's ever done that. And they're, so I mean, they should, whatever movie they put out should be Best Picture every year, and they've never won it once.
And so what's next for you, DB, as far as films? Are you going to be writing and directing any more? What's on your plate?
Yeah, I've written 2 more movies that I'm trying to get going with somebody else's money this time. And I've written a TV show, and I'm getting some interest on that. And right now I'm filming as an actor on a TV show called The Event, which is NBC's big deal for the fall.
Yes, I'm very excited for that.
It's really cool. I saw the pilot. It's really, really good. And I've never been on a show where, well, actually, Chris Carter was pretty secretive about, what was going to happen with the characters on Harsh Realm, and he was famously secretive on X-Files. And I understand why guys do that. But, because with the Internet especially, somebody puts a script down and it's like, well, why would you watch it if you already read it, on some website? Right. So they're really close to the vest with the scripts and the stories. I really don't know where it's going. They give me my scenes, and I get great scenes. I mean, some of the best scenes I've had in years. And I do my scenes, and then I go home, and then I'm not in a part of the story where I would learn about other things, and it's kind of great. You're sort of off the hook about worrying about, anything other than your scenes and your characters and the people that are in the scenes with you. So I really, really enjoy this way of working, and I wouldn't mind if other shows did this.
Well, I know we are running out of time, so thank you for taking time to talk to us, and continued success to you.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for taking all this time watching the movie and then talking to me and everything. I really appreciate it.
No problem.